I feel like so many of these second episodes do have this introduction as well. As like, I don't believe in free will, therefore.
Such an interesting concept, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one, at least it's like, it makes it interesting to reframe how we look at the world and everything. But yeah, so because of that, we should, and I, should, should is a strong word, but I think we should create systems through which people flow towards behaviors that are more of what we want out of people.
Yeah. So if we're making decisions to create the systems, is that not free will?
The decisions we make are the decisions we were going to make.
Because of the systems we've been in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I can see how that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's this weird sort of like circular logic, and I haven't really been, able to find a way out of it. But like, we're all flowing towards something. Yeah. I have a really nerdy science fiction example that helps explain that, which is like there's fourth dimensional time travel and fifth dimensional time travel. So fifth dimensional time travel is like Back to the Future. If you go to the past, you can actually like change the past and it affects the future. And it's actually just generating all these different offshoots of like what the future ends up being.
So is that like multi universes?
Yeah. Okay. That creates a multiverse. Yeah. But then fourth dimensional time travel, or just linear time, means that everything that happened is exactly what did happen, and everything that is going to happen is exactly what is going to happen. And if you travel back in time, you're actually doing the thing that already happened. So like in Prisoner of Azkaban, whenever Harry and Hermione went back to fix all the things, they actually already did that. And it's like
it was like expected.
Yeah. It's a great example of that, even though J.K. Rowling sucks. We are victims of J.K. Rowling fandom, as I heard someone put it.
I love that.
But yeah, and so because we are sort of shot out into the future and time and existence, we are going in the direction that we are going.
I gotcha.
It's not helpful to think about all the time because it doesn't really change anything.
Yeah, I guess that's the point, isn't it? Yeah. I feel like that makes me think about how something I think about in my daily life often is that we're all living from our own experiences. Mm-hmm. So like we could look at the same like apple and like see it differently, like experience it I don't know why I said apple, like that didn't need to be said, but like everything we're doing is we're all experiencing it differently because of the experiences that we've had before. And so I don't know, I feel like that makes me I don't know, that correlates to me. The like lack of free will thing.
Tiny tangent. Why is Apple like the first item that we always like go to if we're thinking of like, is it just like that our brains are alphabetized and we just go to like a word, literally the first one, I guess, is Apple. We don't say aardvark all the time, but like
we should. Yeah, because I wonder if we asked someone who is like from a different culture, like a different country or something, like I wonder if they would say the same thing. Like it probably, yeah, right. We should do that. I feel like it's definitely a like a thing that we're all taught in like kindergarten.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just like the rest of the examples are just like the next thing that's closest to you. And so it's usually like phone.
Yeah.
Or keys or whatever it is. I think there's a lot of like philosophical texts that talk about like when you imagine a chair, and it's like these people were sitting in a chair when they were writing this because chair is like in so many like thought experiments.
That's true. Yeah.
But
I wonder what chair everyone's imagining, you know? Like I imagine like a wooden chair with like a very like square back and little like 3 wooden prongs in the back kind of thing. Like I wonder if people are like imagining like a cushion or like a rolly chair, like, you know?
Yeah. And it's actually like really interesting. So this is something like,
have you thought about this?
Yes, absolutely. I told you this is a philosophy podcast veiled as a music podcast.
Gotcha.
That Plato has this idea of the forms, like the plane of forms, and the forms are the like perfect version of anything that you can imagine. And anytime that we are like making something, Plato says like we're drawing from the forms to make the thing. And so there is like a Platonic ideal of like the most cherriest chair.
Okay.
Which is red and made of cherries because that's the cherriest chair.
Obviously. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I pictured. It's a cherry chair.
But yeah, so like the most chair is like the is probably that like wooden like 90-degree angle. Not even so much because it's like the most comfortable chair, because that's a different metric, right? Yeah. But it's just like it's the most like a chair. Like it is undeniable if you see that wooden like 90-degree angle thing.
Yeah.
You absolutely would go, that's a chair.
Yeah, for sure. You're making me feel like I'm in a simulation right now.
Which
I'm uncomfortable. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. But like, I don't know, going back to like apples, what is the appliest apple? And
I would say the appliest apple is red.
Yeah.
And
it has like a shiny spot.
Yeah. Definitely.
A single leaf and a stem.
Weirdly sharp. I feel like normal apples are kind of misshapen a little bit and stuff, and they have the round bottoms, but I feel like the most perfect apple is the one that has the really sharp bottoms. Yeah, you know what I mean? Not sharp, but like pretty pronounced bottoms.
The like clip art apple.
Yes. Yeah.
That is always on teachers' desks.
Yes.
For whatever reason. All of our like ideas of what the most anything or our Platonic form of anything just comes from school. Yeah. And the first time that like, you know, someone said, this is an apple. I was like, all right, cool.
Now I know.
Put it in the box in my head forever. First in the category apple. As well. Yeah. Quick, think of a thing.
Oh man.
How do we get here? I don't know. But free will.
Yeah. Apples.
And
I feel like I just like further, we just apples simulation, free will. Yes.
Yeah. So
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Systems. The thing that, I was thinking, I was like on a long car ride and just driving by myself. And I was listening to an audiobook and I had a thought and I paused the audiobook. And for the rest of the like 45 minutes of that drive, I just like sat in silence with my thoughts. It was great.
I love that. I do that a lot especially after shows when you've had like the music happening for a while and you have like a couple hours drive home. I sit in silence a lot and just process or think or
what do I do with all this adrenaline?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Was that the thought that you had on the drive?
It was about how systems and the individuals that interact within them. So like, for whatever reason, I personally think about systems and like prioritize them more than the individuals behaving within the systems. And so it's one thing to say, like, I always kind of bring the example of crime, especially when regarding free will, which is like the way that our system as it stands right now deals with crime is that like you did a bad thing, you are bad, you get punishment. And so that's like treating someone as an individual within a system rather than like acknowledging the whole system around them. And it's like not enough people are asking the question of like what led that person to commit crime in the first place.
100%. Yeah.
And I think more so, and this is, hey, regular podcast listeners, here comes back the return of this buzzword metamodernism, which is basically just like looking at systems and the way in which we are behaving within systems and how just systems affect the things. And it's a very like, I feel like Gen Z is totally all about, even if they haven't like said it, but it's like, yeah, totally. Like there's patriarchy and there's like white supremacy and like these are systems that we are living within.
Yeah.
And it's very new to older people. And they're like, I don't know what you mean. I'm not a white supremacist. And it's like, well, like racism can exist without racists.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, the thought that I was having is just that, like, I think about systems a lot more than I regard the individuals within them.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that, you know, so yeah, what does lead a person to commit crime? What does lead a person to hate themselves? And the examples that you were saying, I've been listening to A Handmaid's Tale, and so that was the.
How is that? I started it, but didn't
despair
finish.
Is I acknowledge that the despair is very real, and as a person without a uterus, it does not affect me as heavily as it would someone else. But you know, I find it to be important that like this is something I need to have an understanding about.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's helping you understand?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was talking to my wife about it, that like it is pretty white though.
Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. I haven't read enough of it to know. What do you mean? Like what are the things that stand out to you that make it white? That like, and I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah.
But it is an observation that the character, and I guess in a lot of ways, Margaret Atwood herself, is sort of comparing her life after this subjugation and her life before it. And like, oh, these are the blessings that I got to live with that I no longer get to live with. And these are the luxuries that I had that I didn't know were luxuries then until they were taken away. Gotcha. And it's like those luxuries still don't exist for a lot of people, even without a zealous religious government. And so it's not necessarily a bad thing that like that's not in the book. It's more that it's notable that these are luxuries that are specific to someone that is white. Yeah, definitely. I can see that. And yet the perspective of a woman is present and important. Just a specific kind of woman who had
very specific kinds of privileges before those were taken away. Do you feel like I obviously haven't read the book. I think I read like the first few chapters, and then I want to finish. I just didn't at the time. But do you feel like she still has privileges within the system because of that,
No.
or not at all? Okay.
Well, cool. I think it's notable that as far as I am in the book, race has not been mentioned.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And maybe it was mentioned and I'm not remembering it, but like, I feel like I would.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Given that this is sort of my first like thing that I realized about the book is that it's very white.
You probably would. Yeah.
But well, actually, so that's not necessarily true. So she talked about whiteness in a metaphor of like emptiness and ghostliness. And like she said that like I am white in this moment. I am a ghost. I am nothing right now. And it's like she was saying it literally in the sense of like her skin color, because she was like terrified in that moment as well. So she was like pale, but also the metaphor of like white as in blink, which is, you know, if we want to be like overly analytical about, like already has some like pro-white bias in the statement. Like white being blink is not necessarily true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's as uncharitable a reading I could give it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I gotcha.
If we're being that, you know, heavy about it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the rest of it, I don't think really, I don't know, is relevant. I have not heard about a character that is of color in the book. So we'll see. That is the sound of my cat jumping onto the jackets that are on the door or trying to get in here. But yeah. Sorry, what else were you saying?
I don't know. I don't really have anything to say after that. I think that's really insightful. That's very it's very attentive of you to notice that. Yeah, that's a cool viewpoint on that. Yeah.
I guess since we're on the topic, yeah, and we can have perspectives here that, again, so Supreme Court decision did a shitty thing for lots of people. Mm-hmm. How do you feel?
Devastated, for sure. I think my initial reaction was shock. Mostly because they just did it without, like, they just decided to do it. Like, nobody voted. Nobody was like, yes, let's do this. And then the states, I mean, some states are allowing votes, you know, like Kansas for the win. But like a lot of states were just like, gotcha, you know. And so it's so interesting to me that I think I was raised to believe that we had more of a say. I think we all were. And that to me was just kind of like a really big like moment where I realized how little control I have over anything, even my own body and autonomy. And yeah, I think also what upsets me, like, I don't know, another thing that upsets me about that decision is that, you know, we have way too many people on this planet already. We are overcrowded as it is. The planet is dying. No, I mean, it's not dying. The planet will be fine. We are going to die if things don't, you know, change. And adding more people to that equation is insanity. I think So there's that, like, we don't need more people. And then there's the thing of that, like, I don't think everyone should be having kids personally. And so I'm interested that that our culture is still like encouraging everyone to have children, because I really don't think a lot of people should be, because a lot of people do it for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. And then and I really feel like it's just a control tactic, just to like just further prove that men have control. Not all men, obviously, but like that powerful people in the government have control over our lives. And like, not only is it children, but it's like, if I were to have a child, like that affects my health. It affects, potentially my education, potentially how much money I can get. It also means that, like, for me, if I were to have a kid right now, like I would probably have to get help from the government and like live off of welfare. And it just further perpetuates the like poverty and suppression. And, it even more affects people of color and like people in different situations. And it's just really like, just deeply upsetting on like so many different levels. So I think I mourned over it for several weeks, and all of my friends, we took the measures that we could to make us feel like we were more in control. But also there's the thing of like, I always knew that we weren't, to a certain extent, like none of us can get our tubes tied until we're like 85 and have had 17 kids and have 3 husbands, like it's like you're not allowed to do that stuff anyway. But it made me mad. Yeah. So
yeah. And thank you for giving your perspective and your emotions and everything.
Yeah. It was a really long answer. Thanks for listening.
No, absolutely. And it's not like what I have to say about it. Like, it's more important coming from you. It affects you more.
Thanks. But I'd love to hear what you think. Yeah.
Systems.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, it doesn't have much to do with individuals, right? Like the individual can do everything in their power to try to not get pregnant and still get pregnant. And then like systemically you are barred from like legally choosing the course for your own life. So like whatever individual decisions are involved in there, like don't matter in the context of the greater system that is forcing people to have babies. And then for what even?
Yeah, like why? And there's just so many children already that don't have homes, or if they have homes, don't have parents that wanted them. Like I know a lot of my friends who like their parents didn't want kids, and they had them, and the kids are still working through the trauma of that, and and then like there's also just the danger that it puts everyone in, like women, I guess really mostly just women, but or people, non-binary people or trans people, it affects everyone, but like people who have the potential to have children, like they could die, or like if they could get arrested, or the doctors who are helping them could go to jail, like like it's just
yeah. So I think of things in terms of systems. And so like the individual doesn't matter in that regard. Yeah. And that is, especially for a culture that is so like individualist in America.
Yeah.
That we are intentionally sort of like taking individual abilities away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've been shocked a lot about how much power our government has over us, and how it just, I think that it was just, there's just, they can do so much just so quickly without our say, without our opinion. And yeah.
Right. And so the one thing that I feel like we all did immediately afterwards is just like, all right, what are we going to do about it? Mm-hmm. And like, we're so sedated by like social media and just like content flooding our brains at all times that like, at least for me personally, I was like, on that first day, I was like, let's do everything we can. What can we do? Let's like think through this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then, some time has passed and I'm not with the same level of like anger and fervor and like needing to take action. And we're kind of all there too.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not really talking about it. I think, I definitely think that it's meant within my friend group, within like just most women that I associate with, it's mentioned at least every other day. Someone's like, well, I have no rights, or, that. Like, I feel like, my friend group, we joke. We have really dark humor, so we like just joke about how it's going. But I think, we definitely. But if I'm being honest, like, it's sadly, I feel like it's not. It's not an abnormal feeling for me or for any of my friends. We, joke about the terrible situations we've been in and the things that we've experienced on the regular. And so I do think that like this was awful and astronomical for sure. But at the same time, I think a lot of women we just adjust because like we know how to, at this point. So I definitely agree. I think we've started joking, or we've started like just making little comments, and it's not something a lot of people are fighting as actively for as we were when it first happened.
Yeah. And in a weird way, like, for some people it's like, wait, I now don't have rights. But it's also like, you never did.
Yeah, no, exactly. It really does feel that way. I think it was just a reminder of how powerless women are. And like, I remember reading about how, I don't know, I can't be totally like accurate about this, but I think it was like the 80s when we were finally able to take out a loan by ourselves, things like that, where like, it's really not, that's what, 40 years ago. Yeah. Like a lot of our rights are very recent still. And Roe v. Wade was pretty recent. And it was, what is that? Like, was it like 60 years ago, like 50 or 60? Or was it 40? I don't know. It was like pretty recent. And
lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just taken away. Like, and then, they were threatening, like gay marriage and things like that. And it's just like, what gay marriage was like, I think I was in high school whenever we passed, like, that was like not very long ago. And, so it's just wild how, I remember, oh my goodness, I remember talking to my friend about like a week before the Roe v. Wade thing happened. And I was like, I hope that by the time, if I have kids, by the time that they're, in middle school or high school, like being gay is not even a thing that we think about, or at least like my grandkids, like it's not even a concept that you like should be heterosexual and then you're deviant if you're not, like, and and then the Roe v. Wade thing happened, and I was like, oh my God, because I really was like, I'm hopeful. I'm definitely like an optimist, and I'm hopeful that things will go well. But it's crazy, yeah, how you can just be like, okay, I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, we shifted gears pretty quickly, and things just, that's just what happens,
Yeah, it is also like there is this weird kind of like dark thought that is actually like a ray of hope for me, which is just like, these are the death throes of extreme conservatism. Like, they know that they're on the way out, and they're doing everything in their power, which is a lot. They have a lot of power, but like, they're doing everything in their power to like make sure they like fuck shit up as much as they can before they die.
That is hopeful.
And it's like, all right, well, cool. Like, you'll die, and then we'll like, I guess, have to like just pick up the pieces from the tantrum that you threw before you died. Yeah. And well, yeah, like, cool. All right. Now that they're gone, are we cool? Like, gay people. All right, cool. People deciding when and why they want to have babies at their own leisure. All right, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just going to like get all these ground things that like culturally are pretty well understood to be just facts. And, and it's like, all right, cool. Now that
we're all on the same page.
Yeah. But like, it still takes a lot to get there and undo those systems. And one of the things that like really sparked that, the 45-minute drive in silence, is just like thinking about Christianity as a system. And how, I mean, you talked about it last episode about how, yeah, there's all these rules and structures and things that you can and can't do, and ways in which they teach you to hate yourself. I was raised Catholic, so
okay. Yeah.
And so guilt and shame are a very, every Catholic person or person who grew up Catholic will tell you about like, oh yeah, Catholic guilt is just a thing.
It's like a whole phrase that people use. Yeah.
And so, yeah, the ways in which the system of Christianity, like written into the code of it, do these things to people, and how it like generates systems that exist in at least fiction as it stands now, A Handmaid's Tale, but like also systems that lead us towards something like Roe v. Wade being overturned. And it's like, these are, or even more so, I don't know, these like manosphere type dudes that like, oh, women are property, and like I can do whatever I want with them, and like teaching adolescent teenage boys that like, yeah, you can just like be an alpha, and this is a good thing that you want to do, and like women don't have value and all that sort of shit, is like the institution of Christianity. And regardless of like the people that exist within it that are like really well intentioned and like probably people creating good things in the world, like regardless of that, the institution and system of Christianity creates these things.
Yeah. Something else I was talking about with someone recently is like how we, have God in our Pledge of Allegiance, and how we swear on the Bible, and how there's so many things within our government that really do center around Christianity, and how many considerations we make towards Christians within like most of our systems, and how we don't make considerations for anyone else, like Muslims or even like Jewish people, or like anything other than Christianity. We're really not, as a government, like as a society, not society, the government doesn't really make doesn't offer the space for everyone. And I think it's interesting because I feel like we try to proclaim that, like, that, you know, that we're open to all kinds of cultures and races and religions. And it's really like, we're really just catering to like white Christian men still, you know?
Yeah. I will say that most religions with like a capital R, are patriarchal.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm excited about them.
And like, even in some ways, like even the least patriarchal religions are still a little bit patriarchal.
Oh, for sure.
Like the worship of Buddha, which, you know, is like sort of, I don't know, antithetical to like what Buddha was saying, but like the worship of Buddha is still like a patriarchal notion. And the fact that like Buddha is the one to like be revered for giving us this knowledge as a man, like says something about like patriarchy is embedded in lots of religions, is what I'm saying. And so to build other systems on top of patriarchal religions, you will continue to perpetuate patriarchy.
Yeah, that's I love that. That's awesome.
And then as well with like white supremacy. And so if you build systems on top of white supremacist systems, then like you're going to get more white supremacy, regardless of the individuals acting within that system.
I gotcha. Yeah.
And so, yeah, we can say, we can pay lip service to freedom of religion and like anyone is free to practice whatever, but also we're still going to say like one nation under God and all men are created equal and all that sort of stuff that is like, it's written into the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe the solution would just be to take it all out or something. I don't even know what the solution would be.
I mean, to challenge the sanctity model that Americans have in their head about like the Constitution is sacred and it should remain untouched. Let's just like let go of that notion first, and then be like, let's just rewrite it. Is there a better way of saying we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal? Is there a better way of saying that?
100%. Yeah.
Especially in the like hundreds of years that has passed since Thomas Jefferson wrote those words. Maybe we can like, and not even necessarily even like change what the text is actually saying, but just like change it to be a little bit more clear, a little bit more, you know, so like, how can we rewrite the Constitution to like say things in a better way that apply to us now rather than 300 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Rewrite the Constitution.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
And like, to many Americans, that is the same as saying rewrite the Bible.
Yeah. Which, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Which is why that's so hard of a concept,
I feel like,
to get across.
Yeah, definitely. That's so funny because I feel, you know, the Bible's been translated so many different times. Yeah. Like, why can't we just translate the Constitution into something more modern? Like we've translated, well, you know, kind of translated the Bible into like, I mean, not quite, but.
The only Bible I consider is the teen Bible that a church made in the 1970s.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep, it's the correct one.
Top tier.
They figured it out then.
It's a limited edition, but only in the closets of people who
who went to the Rosewood Baptist Church in Kentucky.
Yeah. We all know.
Yeah. That is the one. That is
Yes.
the correct Bible.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's all just a matter of like perception, I guess, how we look at these things, how we I had a conversation with someone involved in politics, and we like I was challenged in the sense that like I brought up something from someone that is like a problematic individual, but like the ideas still stood. Like and so I guess I'm prefacing that by saying like things that Jonathan Haidt says now are pretty crummy, but I think his notions about the righteous mind, he wrote a book called The Righteous Mind, and it like talks about how people tend to make emotional decisions first and then use rationality to justify it. With the metaphor that explains it better is like a man riding an elephant. It's like you can say that you're guiding the elephant to where it goes, but also the elephant is doing whatever the fuck it wants.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how we make decisions out of our emotions. Like we will make an emotional decision and then be like, oh no, I totally like did this because blank.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But also Jonathan Haidt wrote a book more recently called The Coddling of the American Mind. And it's like all crummy, like democratic liberal nonsense that's just like, the kids are too woke. And so that's annoying. But, you know, people can have smart things to say and also dumb things to say. That's everyone.
Yeah. Yes. I agree. Firmly. Yes.
That long walk towards in some of the studies that he was doing for that book, The Righteous Mind, he talked about how like there are certain like values or like modules through which we like hold on to our values. And so there's like conservatives tend to hold on to the sanctity module more than progressives do. And so we as young progressives don't think of the notion of sanctity as like, we don't hold on to it as tightly. And that allows us to sort of make progress easier because we're not holding on to stuff as tightly. Because we're not holding things sacred. And, you know, that can have a downside to it to where like certain things that are important stop being sacred as well. And so like sex starts being a thing that like stops being treated in a safe or, you know, way, or, you know, books and knowledge and culture and all that sort of stuff is like
taken for granted.
But we're also willing to be like, we could rewrite the Constitution.
Right. Yeah.
But we don't, like, to someone that has different values than us, that sanctity module is like definitely holding on to stuff way more tightly. And we're easily willing to be like, yeah, just rewrite it. It's whatever. Yeah. And they're like, no, you can't. And like, it's harder for us to empathize with that because we don't have that same value.
I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Do you do a lot of engagement with people that you disagree with? I don't, to be honest.
I sort of. So my closest group of friends, no. My boyfriend is, you know, we're on the same page. My mom and I are on the same page. I don't talk to my dad much about anything like this. So I'm genuinely not sure. It would be interesting to talk to him about it. I do have some like friends that I meet with, like once a month for coffee that we don't necessarily agree on the same things, but we don't discuss it much. And then I think I do like, I do interact with people who don't agree with me on the same things. And it's interesting to hear the way that they think about things. Yeah. And how they, there's like fundamental truths in their lives that are just very different from the ones that are in mine. And I also empathize with, conservatives or like people on the other side of things from me, because I grew up kind of that way.
Exactly.
Like my mom is actually like kind of, she teeters between both sides depending on the situation, and that I think is her upbringing versus her like what she's learned as an adult kind of thing. But like I grew up being pro-life, like firmly. Right. And I think it's like you have to be like, oh my goodness,
Did you ever protest outside of a abortion clinic?
Oh no, I didn't. I totally did you?
Yeah, there's like reverse Catholic guilt in me from that.
Right. It's okay, you didn't know. I feel like that's the thing too, is like I just remember knowing, like when I was young, I remember knowing. And I think the difference between me then and me now is like, I don't know, like I have beliefs, but like, I don't know anything. And back then I remember being like firm, and I knew, and I was certain that I was right. And that the things that I believed were godly and they were correct. And so I think when I do interact with people who have different beliefs than me, it's easier for me to empathize and be like, I get that. I'm not there. I don't agree necessarily, but I get that. I do struggle with people who want to change my mind, like I like to hear perspectives. I think that it's always useful to have like as much information from every side as you can, so that you can, have a good
well-rounded and informed opinion.
Yes, exactly. But I feel like sometimes you encounter people who are like hateful towards you for not sharing the exact same opinions, and I really don't do well with that. But I do hang out with people who don't share the same thing.
Yeah, it is difficult to engage with beliefs that impose themselves on everyone. So I'll actually say an example that came from an angsty like adolescent part of me is that like whenever I fell out of religion at like, I don't know, probably like age 19 or something like that, I was like, there is no God. And it's a very different statement from saying, I don't think God in the way that Christianity tells us it is true.
Yeah.
One is obviously a very more like nuanced statement. But the first is like, that is a belief that imposes itself on others. To say out loud to people, there is no God. There are people that believe in God and like are challenged by that statement. And they're less challenged if you say, I don't believe in God. And I think that the Christian notion of God is not necessarily something that I agree with.
Yeah, definitely.
And people can engage with that a little bit better.
I do feel like, just to like, I don't know, be kind to your 19-year-old self. Sure. I feel like it's so much easier when you're changing your mind to go from one side of things completely to the other, like, especially when you're young, it's like, things are so much easier to be understood as black and white, and then as you get older, like, you know, you see the grays and stuff. But like, I think I did the same thing. Like, I went from being a Christian to being like, no, God's not real, you know, and then that was a different kind of devastating. And then you like, I mean, not everyone gets to the gray, and I think that that's fine, you know, but I don't think I think that that's very normal.
Yeah. But it makes it difficult to engage with people who then on the other side are like, marriage is between a man and a woman. Why did I put on that accent whenever I said that statement? I don't know.
It was great. I liked it. It was
good. But like, that is an outward belief that imposes itself on others. And it is challenging to engage with whenever your belief is challenging another person's existence. And it's like, there are only men and women. Sorry, I don't know why that accent keeps coming out of me. That like, for someone who is trans or non-binary, they're like, well, I exist. So either you don't think I exist or you think that I am invalid. And that is challenging to my existence. And it makes it sometimes impossible to engage with.
Yeah, definitely.
And we just aren't able to communicate in a way that allows us to even just talk.
Yeah. So you can't bridge the gap because you're so far apart.
Yeah. And so, I don't know, one thought that keeps coming up is our culture overvalues informational intelligence and devalues emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And there's probably also like patriarchy in that as well. And so like, yeah, we would all do so much better with like acknowledging that there is such a thing as emotional intelligence, and that they're like, not just its existence, which is a good starting point, but also that there are ways of increasing one's emotional intelligence and better engaging with other people through emotional intelligence. And like, just acknowledging that like, hey, here's a skill bar in your life that you didn't know existed, and now you can level it up.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I spent a lot of time reading like psychology books and like trying to understand like why we are the way we are, and like how we process trauma, and like dynamics between relationships, and like all of that stuff. And I think it's interesting because there's a lot of research that's been done on like our nervous systems and you know, the way that we respond to things as humans. And emotional intelligence is like scientifically proven, you know, that it's better for you. Like, you know, there are psychologists who are studying it on the regular. And so what's crazy to me is that there are so many people who deny, you know, emotion, just like you're saying, emotional intelligence, when in fact, like logically it's backed up. Like science is saying now that like we benefit from like being more emotionally aware. It's not even emotional. I mean, it is, but it's like, it's our brain chemistry, and like what's better off for our bodies and for our brains and all of that. So that's always interesting to me that people they just deny it.
Right. But also like, kind of what you're saying is that like, we can actually like intellectualize it. Like, hey, look, there are ways you can communicate with people that like show them that you are being aware of their emotions, and like that will increase just positive interactions between you and other people. It will benefit your relationships to just add these words to your vocabulary even. Do you know about Team CBT? Do you know about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy?
Oh yeah.
this is another thing that I like just keep telling everyone about, which is I'm glad, I'm happy to keep telling people about it. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast yet, but like if I wasn't 110% into music, I would be a therapist. Like I was going to say, like, consider being a therapist. Like, no, I would probably just be a therapist. And I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about team CBT. And so cognitive behavioral therapy is using methods to engage with thoughts and how they affect you internally, and like using just logic and even also emotional intelligence to engage with the thoughts that are making you feel a certain way. Yeah. The foundation being your thoughts guide your emotions and not the other way around.
Yeah, I believe that for sure.
And so team CBT is like an even more structured way of doing it, and is, you know, academics love acronyms. So team is testing, empathy, addressing the resistance or something like that. It used to be agenda setting, but like whatever. And then M is methods. Okay. And it's in that order because that is the way in which team therapy goes. And so testing, you like take a little like test that just shares like how sad are you feeling, how angry are you feeling, how rejected are you feeling, and just like from a scale of like 1 to 20, just like putting that down, and that lets your therapist know like literally just how are you feeling. And it's actually way more effective doing it that way than sitting down with a person and asking them how they're feeling.
Yeah, it's such a big question that way. Yeah.
And also that like whenever you ask someone how they're feeling, you don't really like put it in like a numerical scale. Like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling sad? Yes. How sad?
Yeah, right.
Very. It's like, cool, I can engage with that somehow. Yeah. But if it's like on a scale of 0 to 20, how depressed are you feeling? And if like, you can kind of guess that like, all right, well, like 20 is probably in the depths of like, I want to die now. And 0 being like, I am not sad at all. And so you can, you know, pretty well put that somewhere. And that actually does let your therapist know like where you're at. But anyways, before I get into just like full on, this is a Team CBT podcast now, that like, it's a whole way of engaging with like people and emotions and thoughts in a like structured way that leads to recovery, which is a strange phrase to hear in terms of mental health, that like you can be recovered from from depression or anxiety or trauma. And one, acknowledging that that's possible. That's neat. There is science behind it. You can look into it. But also that like there are ways of getting there, and there are ways of getting there yourself if you can't afford a therapist, because this kind of like, you know, therapy is expensive, and it's like generally pretty inaccessible to people. But like you can buy a book and like go through these things yourself. And if you're able to like go through the books yourself, you can actually like recover yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I'm reading this book right now called Attached. I don't know if you are familiar. I don't know who it's by, but I think it's like, do you know about attachment theory?
Tell me.
So there's insecure attachment and secure attachment, and this is like within relationships, and the book really touches mostly on like romantic relationships. And it secure attachment is the only healthy form of attachment, and then there's insecure attachment, and insecure attachment breaks down into three different kinds, I'm sorry. And there's anxious, and there's avoidant, and then there's like disorganized or anxious avoidant, or it's called many different things. And like 50% of the population is secure and has a healthy dynamic normally within romantic relationships. And then there's the anxious people who are like anxious. They're very like, they crave intimacy a lot. They're very insecure usually in relationships. They're constantly wanting reassurance and attention, and constantly like worried about the relationship. And then there's the avoidant kinds of people who are in the beginning of a relationship, they're very like kind of loving and like, wow, you're the best thing that's ever happened. But then they don't talk to you for like 4 days, and kind of like they avoid intimacy. So they're slow to say, I love you, and like very slow to make commitment moves, and like uncomfortable with that. And then the other kind, which is much more of a rare kind, is someone who struggles with both. But the book is really about how, if you have an insecure attachment, how to become more secure, because you can become secure. And really, it's mostly like you should be partnered with a secure person to learn how to have that attachment, or even if you're not partnered, like having a friend or having a mentor or that kind of thing, because it's really difficult to sustain something whenever you're insecure within your relationships. But it's really interesting and very insightful, and has a lot of like guides on how to do that and how to identify which one you are, and what secure people look like. And yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah. I know you said that like that applies mostly to like romantic relationships, but like, are you able to engage with it in like, just interpersonally?
Oh yeah, 100%. So the book really discusses romantic relationships mostly, but it applies to everything. I definitely, like as I'm reading the book, there's ways to identify who, like what kind of attachment style someone has pretty quickly off the bat, for like dating and stuff. And so as I was listening to the book, I was thinking of like the people that I interact with, and like what kind of attachment styles they might have, and things like that. And it's pretty, like once you read the book, it's pretty apparent after a few conversations with someone what kind of tendencies that they have, like the I don't know if you've ever heard people say well, they didn't text me back for 3 hours, so I'm going to wait 3 hours to text them back, or, that kind of stuff. Like that's anxious. And like avoidant people are like, I don't want to get tied down to a relationship, or like, this person's so clingy. Or avoidant people also really fantasize over their exes. So they're like, they don't stay in relationships for long usually, because they avoid intimacy, but then like fantasize the people that they were with before and say that they were perfect. And but anyway, yes, I'm sorry, that was a big explanation. No, hey. It applies to platonic relationships and all of that as well. Yeah, definitely.
I love hearing about it. But I guess to wrap things up.
Yeah.
That like, I don't know, there are ways in which you can like engage with yourself and engage with others and improve relationships and be able to like I don't know, it's a funny thing that like, since I think so much in terms of systems, it's also because like I try my best to like keep myself together. And I think, I don't know, I think I have myself together.
Seems like it.
I don't know. But like, and so I'm like, what else like is out there? There's still troubles in my life that I like that need to be solved. And it's like, all right, this is how I would fix the government.
Yeah.
Even though I was like, I can't do anything about that. But anyways, like there are things within your control that you can engage with. You can improve your relationships. And there's actually like ways of doing it. And yeah, it, like takes work probably, but like you totally can. And why do so many of these end with think globally, act locally is the phrase that comes to mind. It's like you can nourish your community personally and locally while also discussing and keeping in mind how everyone is affected by all these other greater things. Yeah. Thank you for doing this with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. Yeah, it's been lovely.
Where can people find you and your things?
You can find me at www.chloebethmusic.com, and then at Chloe-Beth Music on Instagram and all of that, and then Chloe-Beth on other stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm Santiago Ramones.
And I'm Chloe-Beth.
What song will be played at the end of this?
I'll do Goodwill. Yeah.
Tossed me out like a vow that he made. He was too young for reasoning, 'cause I'm not even worth my own time, let alone someone else's. I wonder and I search and I find there's just too much I haven't dealt with. I've packed up all my bags until they're I
You can find everything that I do on my website, santiagoramones.com. I make music and produce audio. The music you're hearing now is music I made. You can listen to official releases by Santiago Ramones on Spotify, Apple Music, and the other streaming places. Or you can support me directly by buying my music on Bandcamp. I'm working on Hypothetical, my first singer-songwriter album, so if you'd like to hear that at some point, there are lots of ways to support me on my website. There's a Discord server in which we discuss deep topics from the podcast, but it's also a community of beautiful human beings. All the links to all my things are on my website, santiagoramones.com. Please take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It would mean a lot to me to hear what you have to say, and it lets others know what to expect, better than I could ever explain. I want to help the world have deeper conversations, so thank you for listening to and supporting Bit Depth. And I was in every podcast with my 3 things. They shape my life philosophy. Those 3 things are: love never fails, it's going to be okay, I might be wrong.